Hey friends, welcome back to the farm. We got a beautiful kind of semi-cloudy day going out here, but the weather's nice. We're going to work on the trailer that we picked up at auction a few days ago. Start getting this thing ready for the road. So stick around, we'll get some stuff done on this thing. So here's our trailer, if you remember, that we picked up at auction. We've already done a few things on it, and we'll run you through it. If you remember, this big rack was bolted over here on this side, and it was a lot longer. I took it off. We painted the top of the fenders because they were fairly rusty, and we cut this rack down. We're going to put it right in front here, sitting on the tongue, so we can put chains, binders, straps, whatever we want to put in there. We just got to put some ends on here, and we'll probably do that today. Another thing that we did was this back corner here was bent over, and we pulled that back up and straightened that up. And if you also remember, when we brought it home, our right rear tire was just absolutely blown out. So we've got a new tire put on that rim, a brand new tire. So we're back on the road so far with that, but we've got other things to do, of course. We have some tail lights to fix. Hopefully the wires are still good. This one's completely missing the lens, but those just bolt on. And then we have clearance marker up here that's broke, missing. I believe we have another one of those in the shop. We also have the different plug than what we want to run. This is a 6-wire plug, and my truck has a 7-wire on it, so we'll probably convert this to a 7-wire plug. Something cool that we found out, you can see this trailer has the big surge brake unit on here. How this works is when you put the brakes on the truck, this plunger plunges into here and activates sort of a master cylinder, which sends fluid to the brake drums. They were hydraulic brakes. But going over this thing, I seen this thing up here on the tongue. And this, usually there's a cable connected to this for the breakaway. So if you break away from the trailer, it pulls this forward and locks up the hydraulic brakes. Well, this breakaway is for electric brakes. So I was asking, why do we have an electric brake breakaway on a hydraulic surge brake trailer? Well, when I changed that tire over there, we have figured out that this trailer has been converted to electric brakes. They changed the backing plates from hydraulic to electric. So this surge brake unit is no longer necessary. So this big conglomeration and weight can come off of there. And if you remember, we need to lower our pintle hitch. So that's going to come in pretty handy. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to go over to the truck, measure what we need for the ride height on the pintle hitch, and then we'll figure out how far we need to go down here. We've got our jack put on here, so we'll level out our trailer. We'll measure each side, make sure we're kind of level with the ground. We'll allow for a couple inches of drop for weight when we put it on the truck. And we're going to get this adjusted. We got the tractor. We can't back this into the shop because the tongue would still be hanging out the door. So I need to pull in forward so we can get this tongue in the door. I can't weld or anything out here in the wind because the wind blows the shielding gases away from the MIG welder, and we wouldn't be able to get a good weld. So let's get some measuring done. So looking at the ride height of our pintle hitch, we're about 16 inches to the top of where the pintle hitch sits. So we'll figure that accordingly when we set up the trailer. We're going to have to allow probably for an inch or two of drop as the weight gets put on the truck. Okay, we've leveled our trailer out. We've got about 14 inches to the bottom, front and back. So let's check our pintle hitch here. We're at 23 inches, and remember we need to be down around 16. well, actually to the bottom of the pintle, we're 22. So we're looking at about a 6-inch drop here. And you can see where the frame is here, where a hitch normally is level with here. We've got plenty of room to drop this down. We're probably going to eliminate this whole unit right here. We're just going to use this here on the end where the pintle hitch goes. And I think I can buy a new one of these brackets, this adjustable bracket. So we can keep this intact. We can sell this to somebody that actually wants a surge brake. But we'll unbolt it from here to start with, and then we'll determine how we're going to bring it all together. Okay, we got it pulled in here with the tractor. Got it up on jack stands. The first thing we got to do is disconnect our breakaway controller here, and then we'll start pulling these bolts out, and this whole piece should come off. Just 7 more to go. All of our nuts are off. All of the bolts are loose. So I'm going to get some measurements here real quick off the bottom of this frame to the bottom of the hitch. And then we'll get our cherry picker over here and pick up this hitch because it's a heavy dude. Okay, with a little help of our straight edge, we have determined that the bottom of our pintle hitch is 10 inches from the bottom of the frame. So we need to lower our pintle hitch 6 inches. So when we're all said and done, the bottom of the pintle hitch needs to be 4 inches up from the bottom of that frame. Okay, we are loose. So basically what we're going to do is continue these tubes out to where they meet in the center. And then we'll get a center tube that comes out with a hitch on it to butt against this tube here. So we can weld all the way around that. And then gusset it up real nice. I think will be plenty strong. We're most likely going to use these brackets here because I think the hole spacing in those is the same as the hole spacing here. So we can use those brackets on the trailer for our pintle hitch, making it more versatile. So thinking about this a little bit more, we already have a section that will fit into our tongue. So I think it might serve us better to cut the surge protector or the surge brake off of this section, reuse this section, and weld this pintle hitch onto the front of that. And then we even got more of adjustment because we'll just keep that in case somebody's got a really high truck this ever needs to be towed with. So I think that's a little bit better idea. It's already set up for that. We've already got the bolts. Everything's already there. So we just cut the surge brake right off of that. Well, the original thought was I was going to try to sell this surge brake to somebody, but second thought, everything in here is probably all jacked up, the master cylinder, probably froze up and everything, and we're probably going to ruin it scarfing it off of this plate because I want to concentrate more on this and not this, because we're going to save this plate here. So we're going to be cutting into this tube. There's a little gap in here that should allow us to cut into that. Luckily there's no weld under here or under there. So all we have is this weld here and that weld there. And if we, like I said, if we concentrate on that tube, we should be able to take that off. So let's get to cutting. Got it scarfed off, so now we need to cut this bracket off of this tube right here, and then we got to come through and scarf this plate that's left over from that tube off of there, and as much of this weld as we can, and then we'll get our big heavy grinder and knock the rest of that weld off, make it flat again. I don't know if you could see, but whenever you're scarfing, you're burning through this outer metal, and because the base metal underneath isn't as hot, it burns clean away from it and doesn't cut into it. Now this piece should technically just tap right off of here now. Yep. So now we'll come through with a torch sideways. We'll burn as much of this weld as we can off so we don't have so much grinding. You can see we got most of that weld off, so just a little bit of grinding to do. Now here's our plate that we cut off of the surge brake system. We're going to clean it up and notch it a little bit so it sits perfectly flat. And I think we're going to weld it right there, kind of in the center. And then when we put it on there, we'll have this adjustment here and also this adjustment down here. Okay, we got everything cleaned up. So we've figured out that the bottom of this will be flush with the bottom of that, and that's the measurement we were going off of, where we said we needed 6 inches from the bottom of that to the bottom of the pin, which comes out to about the center of this, between the 3rd and 4th hole, which translates into about the center of this tube. So if we center this, will be about where we need to be, and then we still have some more adjustment down if need be, or we could adjust up, or we could adjust with these holes as well. But we can't go down any further, so we got to make sure that at the lowest point it's still going to ride okay on the pickup. Got our bracket all square, level, and everything. Our table's perfectly level, so we can use a level for a lot of that stuff. And then we measured from the bottom of our square over. We're about 5 inches, so that's pretty close. We can go down or up if we need to. Just got to get her welded in and we can mount it. Working our way around. Now some of you may wonder if it's a good idea to use a MIG welder to weld a hitch. This welder will do 3/8 of an inch, and that's the material we're working with there. You can see we're set on 3/8. It'll do that on 220 power. It'll only do 3/16 on 110 power. Okay, we got it back together. We got lots of adjustment we can do. So let's get this thing back outside. If I knew we could just do it by taking that top off, I wouldn't even need to bring it inside, but it worked out. Okay, got her outside. Hitch is looking good there. So let's bring the pickup over. We'll check ride height on this thing. All right, trailer looks perfectly level. We're sitting all the way down on the truck. Truck came down about 2 inches as I suspected. And I think we've got a real good ride height. So much better than when we brought her home for sure. We were almost dragging the frame over here when we come home. So I'm interested to see what it'll look like with the tractor on. We got the tractor out. Let's roll the tractor up on the trailer. Oh, I like it. Looks good. Tractor could actually come forward a little bit. The truck looks like it's squatting a little more than it is because it's going uphill. But I think that's going to ride perfect. Excellent. Well, I think that's going to be a wrap for the day. That's enough. I'm glad we got the hitch done. We actually got to use that other trailer tomorrow. So we're going to get this one up the hill using the tractor and get it out of the way till we work on it again next time. I'm happy with the way the trailer came out. We didn't lose any of that adjustability, so that's good. And that hitch could even be flopped over and get even higher if need be, but I doubt if it would need that. So hope you enjoyed the little trailer upgrade here, and I hope you come back and see us here at Markelly Farm real soon. We enjoy having you. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come on back.